Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So if Kurt comes in the middle of it, I'm just gonna have to be ruthless at this point to make a point. I don't like it, but it seems where I'm going. Starting roll call. We have. It's the cat. Okay. Here we are starting roll call. And we will start with Vice Chairman Austin.
Here.
Senator Bree.
Here.
And Head Chairwoman Liddell. Me. Here. And session starting. Vice Chair, you may have the floor.
On what bill?
You just pick that. House Joint Resolution
6.
Yes, thank you. I was thinking 6, but my brain's having a brain fart. Excuse me.
All right. May I request Madam Clerk to read the title and sponsor of House Joint Resolution 6.
All right, the 26th one, or is that number 38?
HJR 6.
It's a House Joint
Okay,
Resolution.
this is second. Okay. All right, the title of the House Resolution 6 is An Act Relating to Use of Multiple Currencies in the Queen Next. The sponsors are Austin Elsler and the Her Majesty Breckenridge.
Okay.
All right. So this bill is basically giving us more currency options just in case the Nixie pound fails on its promise of becoming Nix's dominant currency. So I was thinking of adding in the 11 listed currencies on the bill, including the United States dollar, even though it shouldn't really be trusted as much. But I figured since it is the world reserve currency, I figured we can use that until people eventually stop using the US dollar when we start encouraging the use of other currencies. So yeah, and then of course people in business can voluntarily decide what currency to use. Anywhere in business can decide which currency they'll allow for the customers to use. They cannot allow or use more than one type of listed currency. So that's basically it.
Alrighty. Senator Bree, do you have anything you need to add or any questions at all?
To be honest, I like the amendment. Basically, it allows a fair use of people from different countries to be able to come in comfortably to be able to use what they need to. So I like the fact that we're trying to at least expand a little bit outside of our main currencies that we want to use.
Okay. I accept this. I do like the fact that this has a wide range of currency usage concerning the Bahamian dollar all the way into the aluminum backs, which is very interesting because you don't really hear a lot about that. Let me see here. And yeah, and it does allow the businesses wiggle room to where if they want to accept the US dollar, they can, or if they want to accept something different, they can, as long as it's within the list of currencies that we recognize and will allow to be used on the island. However, I guess the issue would only come in if someone comes in without those set of currencies. and something different? How will we approach that situation? Prime.
They can get it exchanged.
Okay, but what if there's no way we can really exchange it, considering it is not on the recognized list of currencies? That
Well,
you
then
have
I guess
currently
that's a
presented
problem.
us?
That's a problem that of a bridge that we need to cross over later. Because so far, that is not an issue.
So far, it may not be an issue, but it's good to try to rectify all issues before allowing something like this, and you know that.
Sure, but it is kind of set forward that, you know, if there's currencies that you have that are not in the list of currencies that you don't have. Well, actually, no. Here's the thing: you can get it exchanged for United States dollars since this is a world reserve currency.
You can, yes.
So they can easily just exchange it somewhere else, get U.S. dollars out of it, and then come to our country.
Yes, but then that's a deterrent. If you think about it, not a lot of people are going to be wanting to go through that kind of issue. And granted, if they come from different countries, they're going to see this list and they're like, oh my gosh, they actually look like they have a wide range. And then if they come in and they realize, oh shit, excuse my language, but this is coming from a real, like, if this was a person kind of thing, like, oh crap, I don't have that kind of currency or that dollar, then that would mean it would take me longer to get in, because that would mean that whatever exchange that we use, so let's say this person doesn't really know how to exchange it into US dollars. Now we're running into a different kind of situation, which is more of a person problem than it is really a currency issue. But the point of it is, if they're still not able to do it through any other route or even exchange it for US dollars because it actually values so little, now there's the meat of my issue. Like, let's say someone from Zimbabwe comes by and they get their dollars exchanged for US dollars, that's going to be pennies. Literally pennies. So they won't be able to get anything here. However, they would be able to get copperbacks with all the pennies they would get. But not exactly enough still to do what they would want to do in the country. So therefore, this is why I'm having a slight issue. Or someone from Cuba with Cuban pesos.
Local government office.
It might be their local government office, but it still values little. Therefore,
No, I was talking about in NICS. We'll have currency exchange machines in local government offices.
Now we're entering into debate. And a debate's gonna happen whether we liked it or not. Okay. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Yes.
So, Mr. Vice Chairman, the issue actually still presides as if I was a Zimbabwean or a Cuban with my own money, such as the Cuban pesos or the Zimbabwean dollar, can't say it right, please excuse me, or the Zimbabwean dollar, which is actually valued very small, even in U.S. standards.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is truth, right?
Yep.
Okay. We go to NICS. How is that going to be valued enough to allow me to be able to explore your island? This is the questions you have to be prepared for.
Well, as far as I'm aware, the Zimbabwean dollar is barely being used as a currency at all in Zimbabwe.
You're correct, but it is still being used as a currency in the poverty levels.
Yes.
So this is kind of what I'm bringing up.
Okay,
to
well
you.
then we can. Well, I don't want to go
Because
that. I don't want to go that far, but maybe there could be some way that money can be given to them if they don't have their currencies listed, and they could just either give that kind of currency back to their homeland for a family member over there, or they'll just trash it.
That's true too.
It's the only thing I can think of. If it's any other currency that's not on the list, then yeah, send it back home or trash it, and we'll figure out how to get you money. I mean, either that or get. I mean, if you think about it, you're not going to immediately use the money as soon as you get here anyway. So
That's
you got to start, getting a job or start a business.
That's true too. But if they're just coming and visiting, that's kind of the question I'm asking.
Okay, well, if they're coming in as tourists, then the only thing we can help them with is currency exchanges. Like, the currency exchanges will be a global thing. You'll still have the world listed currencies, okay, to do currency exchanges or whatever, but we just got to let them know that there's only like 12 of them that are actually recognized. So the currency exchange machines will still be, it'll have every currency in the world, but we're only taking 12 of them. That's it.
But even with the list of current currencies, how are we going to be able to explain that to maybe someone that's coming in from another government wanting to visit, anything like that? Because they're going to see this list and they're going to be like, why do you have this currency, or why do you have that currency? Instead of just rationalizing it all in just one currency that sums it up for all of them. Or most of them.
Then we're going to tell them it's free market competition because not all currencies are perfect. Because I've already explained this to, I've already said this in one of my I think one of my either executive addresses or me signing a bill in the law, one or the other. I was doing something. I know it was on record. I lost my train of thought now. I've already lost it. What did I say about currencies? I've already done forgotten what it was. So I was on record and I said something about currencies. What was it about? What was it about? Yeah, world exchange of currencies and someone going. Yeah, free market. Okay, free market competition. Yeah, that's where I was. So in the because I've already explained to everybody that if the Nixie pound fails, it fails. We're not going to attempt to bring it back. Because if it fails, that means the people gave up on it. Granted, our currency is not backed by just trust; it's backed by metals too. But if it fails, who are we to try to bring it back? So, I mean, that was our government attempt on making a currency. So, if other currencies prevail over the Nixie pound, then so be it. But all we have to do is make sure that it doesn't monopolize, where one currency is not the only victor. There needs to be at least more than one. Or two if need be. So, yeah, there's my explanation.
Okay. All right. So we will begin the vote now. Excuse me, I am suffering with, I don't know what it is. What it would be called? Is a cold, I guess. So, Senator Bree, how do you vote?
I vote yay for House Joint 6.
Okay. For House Joint Resolution 6, or HJR, Vice Chairman, how do you vote?
Aye.
As head chairwoman presiding over this meeting today, I do vote yay for House Joint Resolution 6. That leaves us with 3 yays, 0 nays, and how many absentees?
0.
0 absentees.
And 4 no votes.
I already said. Oh, I thought I said 3. I said 0 no's. 0 nays.
Yeah, 0 nays, 4 no votes.
Okay, thank you. I was thinking, what the hell? That's the same as absentee.
Oh, I didn't hear you say absentee, my bad.
Yay.
Sorry.
Reading. That's 3 yays, 0 nays, 4 absentee votes in presiding over HJR 6. So now we will move on to the next bill on the agenda today, and it will be the last bill because not everyone is submitting bills. And the next bill would be the one that if as long as Senator Bree is okay with it, if I can read it this time. Did she hear me?
I'm sure she'll be fine with you just reading it.
Senator Bree, are you okay with the head chairwoman reading House Bill 26?
Of course.
Okay. So continuing on to the next bill, House Bill 26, number 38, titled An Act to Establishing Voting Registrations for Citizens of NEETs, and the sponsors is Austin Elsler with co-sponsor Queen Breckinridge the First.
Oh, okay.
Bill request number 38, floor amendments for this bill is 0. This bill reads as follows. Number 1, this will be added to the legal rights chapter of NIC's revised statutes. Number 2, this will authorize the legislature to make voting registrations for citizens and apply requirements for registries. Number 3, this will authorize the executive branch to hand those out to people and offer them voting registrations. Number 4, whoever registers to vote will be legally able to vote in all polls nationwide. Number 5, whoever has not registered to vote will not be able to vote in nationwide polls. And this is the end of the bill. And the last action was introduced to the Unicameral on this day, October 24th, year 2022. And as we go over to just throw our awesome vice chairman into the hot seat.
Yippee.
Senator Bree, is there any questions or concerns you have over this bill?
Honestly, I like the way it's written. It basically means that anybody who registers will be able to pull up the records to see who exactly has actually voted, and everything to be basically just like legal and fair to the other voters. So that way we will be able to make sure that all of the numbers are pulled in together neatly.
Alrighty, Bree. Now it's my turn as head chairwoman. I do have a few questions about the bill. So how do we determine who's legal to vote?
Well, obviously age. Basically, whoever signs a citizenship application. Basically, you're a citizen, 18 years of age. The registry itself. I mean, well, that's the thing, though, right? Because this bill doesn't necessarily define how the registry is written.
Yes.
So the unicameral, if this bill passes, the unicameral can actually decide how the registry will be written and what will be included in the registry. So this is basically like a entry bill for it to happen.
So you're wanting this bill for us to be able to pretty much make up the forms, do the
and we can
legality work or the liability work. Right.
Yes,
correct.
To put everything on the form that the unicameral decides. So that means it don't have to be just me. Of course, it might be anyway, but It doesn't have to be just me to put like details and questions and requirements on voting registrations onto voting registrations. So we can put what us as a unicameral can put anything we want on the voting registration, as long as it's based on constitutional grounds and not violating any of the constitutional amendment rights that the people got. Yeah, as long as it doesn't violate, like, I guess the First Amendment, and as far as I'm aware, it's the First Amendment and currently the 11th Amendment. Of course, if that amendment gets repealed, then we don't have to worry about the 11th Amendment. But then we got to make sure it doesn't violate the 13th Amendment if it passes.
Okay, so yes, this is true. We do have a lot of sensitive amendments when we go into this.
Yep. So far, only 2 of them will be a little
tricky,
sensitive.
No, they'll be tricky.
Yeah.
Because how those are worded, we have to be very careful.
Yep. I agree.
So for you wanting to introduce this entry bill for us to be able to draft and make up this registration for voting, how are we going to determine how the registration process is going to be handled? Who's going to actually be drawing up the forms aside from the executive branch? Is there anything the supremacy branch would like to be aware of before we really dive into this?
Well, the unicameral decides what goes on the form, and I guess whoever has access to the ability to put it on the forms, they put it on the form. But the unicameral gets to decide what goes on the form. Like, they have the 100% authority of what goes on the registration forms. And, and as far as I'm aware, the bill doesn't necessarily say this was right. Oh, well, it already says the executive branch to hand those out to people and offer them voting registration. So that's part 3 in there. But yeah, but you know, it don't just have to be me. I could put one of my executive officers into it, whoever it is. I don't know who it'll be, but.
So even though the executive branch would have assumably a stronghold on forming the registration forms, I will FYI you that you being a part of the executive branch, that this could sound like a conflict of interest. Due to the fact that you already presented as registration and all that good stuff, and you also drafted this bill. This could look like a form of conflict of interest, and I was just FYIing you that it could.
Right.
So, depending on who looks at our laws and things like that, it could be viewed as such. Because you, being part of the executive branch, drafting this intro bill, which is fair because you are part of the unicameral, could look like that you're just trying to pin for this. So just be very mindful of that if someone tries to bring it up or anything like that against you later on.
Yep. Sounds good to me. But I mean, and to correct you a little bit, we don't have the power to do anything with the forms other than what it says on the bill, hand them out. So that's our job, is to hand them out. But the unicameral gets to make them. So
yeah, so it depends on who makes them in the unicameral.
Yep, the unicameral decide who gets to make them, print them out, and what goes in them. And not only that, I thought it was a good thing to have the legislative branch to be in charge of that authority. So, because, you know, there's a lot more people involved instead of just one person.
Fair point. Alrighty, Bree, is there any other questions or concerns that you may have?
Honestly, besides trying to figure out how the voting thing is gonna legally work, I think it's pretty fair.
Okay. Alrighty, now we move on to the voting phase onto the bill. Whenever you're ready. Alrighty, Senator Bree, how do you vote on the bill?
I vote aye.
Okay. Austin Elsler, Vice Chairman, how do you vote on the bill?
Aye.
Head Chairwoman Liddell Miranda, how do you vote on the bill? I vote aye. So there is 3 yeas on the House Bill 26 for the voting registration introduction. Since it was clarified as an intro, technically speaking, an intro bill. As 3 yeas, 0 nays, and 4 absentee votes. And they will have 72 hours for both bills after this point forward to vote either yes or no on either House Joint Resolution 6 and or House Bill 26, because we all know some people can be picky and just want to vote for one and not the other. But concluding the voting session of the meeting, I would like to thank Senator Bree and Vice Chairman Austin Elsler for being a part of this unicameral meeting today. Granted, I may or may not have forgotten it because it is every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. But I would like to send my thanks and appreciation, even though I'm not always there. I do want to send my appreciation to the both of you for keeping it going, even though I'm not here to make it interesting with my little debates on some of these bills, which I get awesome answers on, which I'm proud of you, because I like to throw trick questions in there to test you a little bit. Let's be real. I would just like to send my appreciation to you two for keeping it going. Even at some points when I was there and I was just being quiet, just letting you guys hash it out. Don't worry, I'm always awkward on the first few tries. But when we started this whole government thing, I still would like to say I appreciate all the citizens and anyone that watches these things, because it helps really keep us going with some of the opinions that we get and feedback as well on how we can run these smoothly and better. And I would also like to say I apologize for my nose throughout this entire video. It's just been running the entire time. But I would like to conclude this voting session as that we have voted, and then everybody else has 72 hours to either vote for House Joint Resolution 6 again and House Bill 26 on the voting registration intro bill, which are very two interesting things, and they're pretty straightforward. So if you guys could please send your votes in, that would help us immensely in continuing on for the next unicameral meeting sessions. So anyways, thank you guys so much, and hopefully you guys have a good Halloween, and this is the ending of the voting session. So moving on, is there anything else that we would like to discuss today?
Unless you want to talk a little bit about the Nebraska bill so far that we got. Only if you want to.
The Nebraska bill is a whole different deal.
Yeah, it's because it's a good 4 pages long.
Yeah, that Nebraska bill is gonna have. I have to look at that again before we can talk about it, because I haven't. I can't remember.
Yep.
So I have to get that again and look at it. And at the next unicameral, maybe we can set aside bills being submitted, just so.
We probably do on Wednesday.
Huh?
Wednesday.
Oh yeah,
We probably can.
or we could probably call a special session on a day this week, and we will be able to discuss that too. But
Well, actually, I can help out with that, Madam Chair, if I have permission to speak.
You spoke without turn.
Sorry. Okay, here.
Yes, Vice Chairman Austin.
I have a thing to help out with that, because a recent House bill that was passed in the previous session, the Prime Minister now has the authority to call for a special session over one topic.
Okay.
So, in case you can't do it, I will.
Okay.
So I thought I'll let you know that. Okay, I yield.
Alrighty, the floor is now open. Senator Bree, is there anything that you would like to mention?
Honestly, I think that might be everything for at least this meeting.
Okay. So until we all meet again, and we will probably be debating on the special session sometime this week, or after I get the copy, we can maybe discuss that special session meeting sooner. So we will definitely have a good rest of our night, and happy Halloween for this month of October. Stay spooky, my friends. All right. And now we are going to vote to close the unicameral session of October 24th, 2022. Senator Bree, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Okay. Vice Chairman Austin Elsler, how do you vote?
I second aye.
And me being the head chairwoman, Liddell, I vote aye to closing the unicameral session on this day, the 24th of 2022. Have a good night, happy Halloween, and stay spooky, my friends. And so blessed to be in the Queen of Mix.